Good morning, friends. Thanks for joining this morning. This is Journey Home Meditation, and you're a part of the morning sit. We're going to have a brief sit this morning, getting inning to a bit of breath work, some meditation practice, tiny bit of contemplation, and maybe a little poetry. And I'm happy to be here this morning. So let's just start with just a few simple breaths this morning. Let the sound of the bell bring you into your practice. Breathing in through the nose and out of the mouth. Beginning with just a few breaths and the sound of the bell is an excellent way to kind of reset our central nervous system. And it's something that you can do very quietly to yourself and in any situation. When someone asks a question of you, I find that if I have the wherewithal not to jump right in with what I think I know, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know the answer to that. I get very excited to participate in conversations, and I get very excited to hear other people's knowledge and share my knowledge, and like just get into this thing where we're just really digging through all of these ideas. Even now, thinking about it, I get excited. I like to talk with people. I like to share in dialogue. And what's also true is sometimes that excitement takes me out of the moment and puts me right into automatic response. I know this. So if I know this, I'm just going to give you this sort of rehearsed response. This way of sharing that's not actually sharing. We're not actually sharing the space. We're not sharing the time in the present moment when we are giving information as an automatic response. So that 3 breaths, just patiently sitting with the question, actually hearing the words, can remove a lot of that performance from the way that we interact with one another, which opens itself to being more receptive to the energy of someone else, to their offering, to their ideas, especially if their ideas are maybe slightly different or even in seeming opposition to your own. Responding to this moment instead of to a preconceived notion takes us much farther in building communication and connections with others. And I think it's an important and vital aspect of communication that we don't practice in this culture. Um, and we can practice it in this culture. We can create this culture. We are creating this culture right now in this moment. Uh, so without harping on that one too long, I do think that maybe a little bit more importance could be placed on the comfortable silent space, and maybe even the uncomfortable silent space. What is in the discomfort that is here for me? What level of this discomfort that I might feel in a social situation is actually something that's really asking to be heard or listened to or tended to inside of myself? Oftentimes we can diffuse our discomfort by talking more, talking louder, talking about superficialities. I think that this is, a lot of the reason that we tend to use pre-built language. Hi, how are you? I'm well. How are you? Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. And we do all of this as this way to diffuse our discomfort. The discomfort of not knowing what we're bringing in energetically into the communication, first and foremost, and not necessarily being prepared then to accept or receive what the other person might be bringing in. Not knowing where I am coming from, where I'm coming, not knowing what's happening inside of me, what is generating emotions, and what emotions are generating feelings, and what feelings are generating beliefs, and all of these different things that are happening inside of me at any given moment. Being dissociated from that, not being aware of that, uh, actually makes it quite difficult to receive in any relationship, any communication, because we are so filled up. I remember as a kid, when I would just be a ball of energy, just unloading, just dumping on my mom. She'd be coming in from a hard day of work, and just, she had her own life going on, and her own concerns and her worries and her fears and her anxieties and all these things. And she'd come in and I would unload all of this stuff. And she would go, I have had it up to here. And for those not on the video, you know what I'm saying. You can envision it without seeing it. I've had it up to here today. I am just filled to the brim. I can't take any more. And I know that feeling. I know that feeling. And I know also, because of the practice and the work that I've done, I know what that means for me when I'm having that feeling. It doesn't mean that you are being too much or the situation is too much. It means that I have not allowed myself to release in a way that gives me capacity to be present with anything at all. I could have it up to here with nobody saying anything. Just what I carry and what I hold on to in my mind, in my thoughts, in my beliefs, in my body, in my emotions. What I am not releasing takes up space. And everything that I release creates space. And to be spacious is to be accommodating. To be spacious is to be receptive. Now I have space to receive. A teacup is a wonderful metaphor. You uh, there's only one thing I can do with a full teacup. It's spill or drink it. Like, if it's filled with old tea, I can't put new tea into it. And I know that seems really trite. Of course, that's the thing. But really, think about it. You know, um, I once saw a thing that was explaining how if if I'm carrying a cup of coffee and you bump into me and I spill coffee all over the place, it's not your fault that I spilled coffee. It's it, it, it's the coffee is what is spilled because coffee is what I'm carrying. And I know I always thought it was kind of there's something missing in this allegory here. This metaphor is a bit lacking, but the point that it gets to is that what we spill out into the world when we bump up against it is what we're carrying. The reason I spilled my coffee is because I was carrying coffee. The reason I spilled my tea is because I was carrying tea. The reason I spilled my anxiety is because I was carrying anxiety. The reason I spilled my anger is because I'm carrying anger. The reason I spilled my frustration, my impatience, my resentments, I spilled that because that's what I'm carrying. And you bumped into me and I spilled it because I'm filled up. But the interesting thing here is when it's love or compassion that we're filled up with, somehow these are things that make us larger. Larger not in a way that we take up space, but that we create space. Love makes us spacious. Compassion makes us spacious. And when we get bumped into and we spill love, well, that's okay. Inevitably, it's okay that we spill anxiety. It's okay that we spill resentment. Because sometimes for myself, I don't even know that I'm carrying it until I spill it all over the place. Like I am completely unaware that all of these feelings that I'm holding in my body are feelings of fear and feelings of anxiety, feelings of resentment and feelings of low self-worth or impotence in the face of something so vast that I have decided to dissociate from my body instead of be in it and be with it because I was overwhelmed. It's too big. Right? It's too big. You can't drink the ocean. It's too big. Um, and I think that if I know that if I have this really keen ability to dissociate everything from the neck down, I'm sure that there are other people that I am in relationship with who do this as well. Maybe you do this. Maybe you dissociate from the feelings of your body. I know for me, I have had an eating disorder for most of my life. And that eating disorder is 100% that I dissociate from my body because I learned from a young age not to feel, don't be in pain, don't share your pain. Nobody wants to know about your pain because your pain makes me feel bad. When you're sad, I'm sad. Um, or your pain makes me angry because it's weakness. So I attack you for your pain. So you learn at a young age not to express pain, and that means you have to somehow turn it off. Well, the Buddha teaches that our bodies are of the nature to age, our bodies are of the nature to get sick, our bodies are of the nature to die, which means that our bodies are of the nature to feel pain. And when we dissociate from that pain, it means we dissociate from everything else that we feel. So for me, I dissociate from the feeling of being satiated, so I overeat. I dissociate from the feelings of anxiety in my body, so I carry it with me and I don't see it until I spill it out. I bump up against something and my anxiety spills out. Anxiety is a feeling in the body. Fear is a feeling in the body, right? Your self-worth, your feelings of being enough, your feelings of being secure, those actually aren't feelings, those are beliefs. And those beliefs are informed by the way that we feel. We feel something, we think it. We think something, we believe it. And so all of that comes back to 3 breaths. What are you carrying into this interaction? What are you carrying into this moment? And if you're aware of it before you spill it, you can release it. If I'm aware that my teacup is full of old tea from yesterday, I can feed it to the plant and then add hot tea to my cup. If I'm not aware, I'll just grab the old tea and drink it back, and it's not as pleasurable. It's not as fulfilling. So I'm going to have to get going here. I'm just having a little bit of a later start this morning. A lot of other things are happening in front of me, so we're moving with the flow of the day. But let's just take a few moments, bring back the bell, and let's have a few moments of what it would be to breathe into our bodies with full awareness of what's happening inside. So as we're breathing in and out through the nose to the bottom of the belly, bring your shoulder blades together in the back just slightly, just enough to open the chest. Level your chin, relax your shoulders, your jaw, your eyes. And begin to have awareness of how the body feels. Have awareness of the self. Sometimes I think there is a bit of misconception surrounding intention of a meditation practice. I used to have a lot of students that would come in to the in-person classes that I would teach in the city, and I would say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm here. I really need this escape right now. Oh, I just need a break from my life. I just need a break. I'm so glad to be here." And I understand. I understand where the urge to find solace, right? To find respite can lead you into these meditation practices, because the world that we've created and that we've made to is just full of stimulation all day long. Physical stimulation, emotional stimulation, mental stimulation. Our emotional body is exhausted at any moment. It takes so much to participate in all of the things in our day, in most of our lives. And they would come and they would, with the assumption that what we were about to do was take a vacation from their life, to take that vacation and get away from all of that noise. And yes, that's not completely untrue. And learning how to bring the noise level down in our world is definitely a valuable skill. But getting away from yourself is actually what we're doing all day long. This is why we are so exhausted. We are so exhausted not because we have given so much of ourselves. We are exhausted because we have stepped outside of ourselves so much, ignoring our own needs, ignoring the messages coming from our own body, ignoring our own desires. All of these things we do to uphold uh, a good human suit, right? We have to straighten our human suit so that others can see us and we are presenting in a way that puts forward this togetherness with ourselves. But what we present and how we are present are two different things. It's amazing it's the same word. And we are exhausted because it's hard to straddle that liminal space where we have one foot in the room and one foot out of the room at any moment. It's through compartmentalizing that we become so worn out. But when we can begin to utilize the practices that we have on the mat, on the pillow, in the chair, in the meditation room, when we can begin to utilize that practice of fully being present from the center out, we can bring this into our lives and we can incorporate our presence with every interaction. And that level of presence does not deplete you. You don't need a vacation from your day. It's actually the thing that fuels our ability to be present. So a lot of people see the work that we do at Journey Home and they say to me, I'm worried about you. You do too much. You're always doing all of these things for everybody else. And I think, what about anything that I do makes you think I'm doing it for someone else? This is 100% with one another. We are here with one another. And the days that I'm not, yes, I'm exhausted. And that's up to me to go, wait a second. What am I carrying that's too heavy? Let it go. Because there's no burden in the present moment. So I breathe and I go back to basics. And I'm revitalized. So thanks so much for being here with me this morning, with one another. I'd like it if you felt comfortable to interact with these programs, whether through sharing, liking, following, reacting, responding, um, engaging in communication. Send a comment and start a thread. Let's begin the conversation, because this is not a solo pursuit. This has an intention of becoming um, a larger conversation amongst more of us, and how we can utilize one another to um, walk with one another. Find us on Substack if you haven't already. Journey Home Meditation. We've got about 12 days left of presence on Facebook in any way. Facebook and Instagram will be going by the wayside for me at the end of this month. So find me on Substack, find us on YouTube, share this with your friends, subscribe on Substack, it's free. Start your own Substack, we can communicate through there. Let's slow down, take breaths, and be together.